Good afternoon. Thank you for joining the first of our two town halls this spring semester 2025. I hope everyone is enjoying the sun. We have literally weathered some storms over the last couple of weeks. This last week had some wild weather. Looks like, particularly this Thursday, we may get another pretty heavy downpour. And hopefully everyone is safe out there and doesn't have any too many storm-related issues where you live. I know on campus we have faced the occasional power outage. I think each campus has had one brief power outage and a few leaks here and there that I know our maintenance and operations folks are working hard to get resolved for us. But enjoy the sun out there today, as chilly as it is. Today we have a number of updates from across all areas of the college. So we're going to jump right into that as folks continue to come into the webinar. I wanted to start by just saying that this is our census date for enrollment. So this semester, our enrollment remains strong. We have our total unduplicated headcount at this point is 6,727 students. That's up about 5% over last spring semester. A lot of that gain continues to be in our non-credit enrollment. We have over 1,900 non-credit students. Most of those are in ESL. We're thankful that they are with us. And we have over 4,900 students in the credit realm, which is up just over 2% from this time last year. So enrollment is remaining relatively strong, and I know that we'll continue to get updates on that, and we'll all continue to do everything we can to ensure that our students have a great spring semester with us, especially those who are on the cusp of graduating. I know I've been approached by a few students about letters of recommendation as they look to transfer and head on to what's next. And so this is exciting, and spring semester will bring commencement before we know it. And once we get to commencement, then we're into the next academic year. And of course, next academic year, we will begin celebrating our centennial. 2026 will mark the centennial of the college, although we will begin celebrating next fall semester with a number of activities. We will be getting a lot of information out in the coming weeks. But we're going to have activities to showcase the amazing work that our students and our faculty and staff do, engaging not only folks on campus, but the community as well. We'll have opportunities for students to propose ways to make the college a better place as we head into our second 100 years, as we work to define our future. And we will have lots of opportunity for celebration. And in spring of 26, on April 6th, Monday, April 6th, which is the actual Founders Day of the college. That is the date for next year's Spring Fling. We have to get through this year's Spring Fling first, which will be a wonderful event again. But next year's, in spring of 26, the Spring Fling will be expanded out, and we'll be inviting in the whole community to participate in all that that program is and celebrate the many things that the college has to celebrate as we officially hit our centennial. So a lot more to come on that front in terms of the activities. We have a planning committee that will be reaching out and engaging anyone who's interested in the coming weeks to participate in planning the many different core events that will make up the centennial, as well as all of the ongoing things that can be branded with the centennial as well. Speaking of branding the centennial, I'm pleased now to have Nicole Cruz, our Director of Marketing and Communications, share with us the new visual identity of the college. That is based on, that is starting with the centennial celebration, but will continue on after. So Nicole, why don't you join us on screen and walk us through the new visual identity in a little more depth than what folks have probably seen in the past.
Thank you so much, President Eldridge, and good afternoon to everyone. Just before we get into things, I want to remind everyone that we are rolling out two separate but very related visual identities at the same time. The first is our overall visual identity for the college, and the second is specific to our centennial. Next slide, Jesse. So starting with our college visual identity, you'll see that we've got new elements here, our word mark, the logo type, and then the monogram. These are basic elements of the visual refresh, and let's see how they look in combination. Next slide. So you'll see in this upper left corner, we've got what will replace our College of Marin existing logo and other iterations depending on the format of how it's being used. And we've already started using this spring. Any new graphic design orders that have come in are using the new identity, and that will continue on and work hand in hand with our Centennial identity. Go ahead and next slide, Jesse. So here's our one element of our Centennial identity. This is the Centennial standalone piece. If we go to the next slide, we will see other elements again to give us flexibility depending on how it's going to be used, what type of material, what the space constraints are. And this is really going to, use of the Centennial identity is going to ramp up this summer so that we've got all of our collateral pieces, our swag ready to go for that official launch in fall. And then just a note here on how the Centennial identity is paired with our College of Marin institutional identity that's been refreshed. Next slide. So the Centennial identity is going to be in use starting from fall 2025, and it's going to go through spring 2027. And these are some applications that we envision using the identity on for swag. Next slide. Things like tap tags so that people can share information about the Centennial business cards. Same thing, the idea being that it's got a link back to our website with all of the updated information about Centennial events and activities, our success stories, things like that. And as far as 2027, you might be wondering, why are we going all the way to spring 2027? And that is because that will mark our 100th graduating class. So, next slide. After spring 2027, and we've bid fond farewell to our 100th graduating class, that officially ushers in our next century, and we will go back to using this new refreshed visual identity. And with that, I'll hand it back to President Eldridge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole. That's great. I think we're all probably very excited to be using this. I know that there's a playbook that will be coming on how to go about accessing all of this shortly. I know people are interested in getting this in their signature line of their emails and using it for different purposes. So I know that you'll be sending out additional information to everyone soon with all the rules and the opportunities to do that. So thank you for that. Also associated with our Centennial will be the opening of the Center for Student Success. We will be open officially, fully in January of 26, just in time for our Centennial. We'll probably be getting folks into it much sooner than that, though. And so to give an update on the Center for Student Success and all the upcoming opportunities to engage with that project is Vice President Dana Emerson. Dana?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to just give you a brief update on the evolution of the Center for Student Success. As you can see in these slides, these were the first pictures I took, one on August 10th, and you can see the progress in just a short 5 months as to where we have gone. And if you look out at the building today, it looks even different now from when it did on January 10th. Please note that the building is on track to be finished this year, so lots of exciting things coming for you. But as we approach that move-in date, I just wanted to kind of go back and just reiterate where we have been. Next slide, please. So here are just the renderings, the drawings from the first floor. The first floor is referred to as the Creekside entrance. This is not necessarily the floor you see from the Academic Center building. It is the one below. And this is a floor that will contain the basic needs hub, the wellness suite, including the SAS, some testing, and some classrooms. The classrooms are highlighted in yellow. We will do the basic needs hub, which is highlighted in pink. The student pantry or the food pantry will also be located on this floor. Next slide, please. On the second floor, this is the level that you see coming from the academic center. This is the home of the library, as well as the transfer center and the large event space. This will also be home to the cafe, student lounge area, and we do have a really nice patio out there on the second floor. Next slide, please. And the third floor, crown jewel, because the views are just absolutely stunning. This will be the counselor's office, which you can see highlighted in blue. The learning communities highlighted in pink. The tutoring and reading and writing lab will also be here on this floor. ASCOM will be located here. We also have a large deck outside. And there's the large classroom space here. To note, originally EOPS Plus was going to be in the building on this floor. They have elected to create their footprint in the student services building. And so that is a change from the original floor plan here. But as you see, there is a lot of moving pieces, lots of places. And the question is, well, how do you find your way around? How will students not get lost? So next slide. Wayfinding is one of the areas that we have been working really hard on, making sure that we have enough information available for everyone entering and utilizing the building, that they will always find their way around. As you can see, here's just one sample of some of the wayfinding materials that will be available in the building. They wrap around corners. So no matter where you are, you will always be directionally pointed to where it is that you're looking for. Next slide, please. So here's another example of wayfinding that represents the three elements that are embedded in the design of the building, the creek, the mountains, and the trees. Each floor will be identified by a different color scheme. So if you're on the blue floor, you know you're on that floor. That is floor 1 and all the things that are available with that. Although this is a sample, these may not be the actual colors of the wayfinding materials that will be in the building, but just so you know that these are all being discussed right now. In addition to this, within the wayfinding is also the naming conventions for everything that will be in the building. And if your area is going to be residing in that building, you should have already had some input on what the names of some of those rooms will be. And if you haven't, please reach out to your supervisor or your manager to provide input as we move along in this process. So after wayfinding, once you know your way around, well, where do you go? What do you do? Next slide, please. There's the furniture. Now, although this is not the furniture that will be available to us in our building, these are some samples of furniture that have been put into other spaces, other educational spaces. And as you can see here, the idea is that in the building, we will have a lot of space for students to work, for students to lounge, for students to study, and do whatever else it is that they want to do in the space. Next slide, please. Here are other examples of some possibilities of furniture that could be in the building. And if you are interested in giving us any input on the furniture that could be in the building, the furniture fair is happening today. It goes through till the 13th. It'll be in the M&O conference room. Today it is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There is furniture for you to test and a QR code for you to scan to give us a survey on some feedback. So again, the furniture fair is running from today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then again on Thursday. And please note the limited hours on Thursday. And I do hope that you all will come over to the M&O conference room and participate in that. Next slide, please. In addition to the furniture and wayfinding, after spring break, we will be offering weekly tours of the building. You will be sent a link to sign up, but the tours will start on March 28th and run through May 9th. They will be every Friday. There will be a tour at 3:30 and a tour at 4 p.m. As you sign up for those tours, we will make sure that you are aware of all of the things needed in terms of clothing that you need to have, and we will give you the protection hat and vest, as you can see in this picture here. We have been giving tours all along, but we will now be opening them up weekly so that you can also take a tour if you haven't. Next slide, please. As Jonathan said, we are moving into this building in fall of 2025, and that is this year. It is literally just a few months away. And for the moving in, we are just now starting those discussions on the cadence of moving in, how we're going to move people in, where we're going to be moving people in first. So if you haven't, we are still on schedule for construction, yes. So next slide, please. In addition to the centennial celebration, as Jonathan mentioned, we will have the ribbon cutting ceremony for this building in February 2026. Lastly, I just wanted to make a note about the restructuring that has been going on in the college, particularly around leadership. I want you to know that we still have some gaps to fill. One timeline was suggested, and we're not going to meet that timeline, but we do plan on having a dean in place for the academic year coming up. We do plan on putting a director back into place for SAS. And if you would like to have more conversations with me about the input in the restructuring and where it is that we're going with the college, please do not hesitate to reach out, and I will be glad to meet with you. I've been meeting with others on this matter, and it has been very, very helpful. And with that, I'm going to turn this back over to Jonathan. I just want to say again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Dana. And I hope that everyone here will, as soon as we get the link out to sign up for those tours, you will take advantage. I know that a few folks will have already been able to go through, but even if you have, sign up again, because every month that I go through, it looks wildly different. They're making great progress. And just so you know, I think we will complete construction in August or September of this year. And I was not entirely sure that it looked like the building would be done by then until this last Friday, when I saw that now they actually have started putting the windows in on the second floor. So it's starting to look more and more finished. But it looks like we'll get the construction done. Then obviously we have to get all that furniture in that Dana talked about. And for anyone who doesn't know or isn't quite familiar, the Maintenance and Operation Conference Room is in the Maintenance and Operations building here at the Kentfield campus. And if you go behind the PE building and past the baseball field, the Maintenance Operation building is out there in sort of left center field. And the conference room is right there. You'll be able to find it. Encourage you to walk over or drive over and take a look. So our goal is to get everyone into that building next fall so that all of our students can get familiar with the building before they head off to the break. And that way, when we have new students coming in the spring and it's all brand new to them, it won't be brand new to everyone, including us. So very exciting. And then beyond that, all these portables on campus, starting in then spring of 26 through that summer, as we do the other work to get it. Once we get everyone out of the portables, then we've got to do the work to get the portables moved. But we are on track to be out of the portable business by the end of 2026 or thereabouts, which I know is an exciting thing for all of us. So thank you, Dana, for that. And we originally were going to have Riley Bowen, our student body president, with us today. She unfortunately is not feeling well today. But the good news is that Siddiqa Sulamanhara, the advisor for student government, is here and stepping in to take over for Riley and give you that ASCOM update that I know that the student government is very excited to share with everyone.
Thank you,
Siddiqa?
Dr. Eldridge. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm excited to share with you what ASCOM has planned for the spring semester. So to get us started, we want to introduce you to the board. Next slide, please. So we've had a few changes in positions. So this is our board. Please disregard the year. It's supposed to be for 24-25, not 23-24. But this is our wonderful board. They've been working very hard to bring the events together for spring and get us ready for the upcoming elections for our board for 25-26. Next slide, please. So now we'll just move into the spring calendar to share some of the events that are happening. Our hope is that you'll take note of this, announce it in your classes, put it in your newsletters so that your students are aware of what is going to be coming this spring. Next slide, please. So the Women of Color Cafe, which is put on by the Office of Student Activities and Advocacy by our wonderful coordinator, T. Perales, our first one will be this Wednesday. So we hope that folks who identify as women of color will come together. We have some conversations. We think about kind of our identities and really what that might mean for us. And that's at AC 229 during community hour. Next slide, please. And Club Fest. This is one of our largest events each semester where we showcase our clubs, and we have new clubs that will be recruiting for their organizations. We're doing something a little unique this year. We're splitting it up amongst 2 weeks. So the first one will be on Thursday, and then the second Club Fest will be next week. We're hoping to do this so that we can accommodate a lot of the students that maybe don't get a chance to come to Club Fest. So our hope is you will note that it's 2 separate days of 2 different weeks. And again, that'll be in the AC Quad. And then we have Black History Month. This will be an event that centers our African American and Black community. We'll be having information, history, and food to really be able to engage our community. Next slide, please. And then Cutie Pie Cafe is our queer and trans pie cafe. It's actually where we bring together folks who identify as LGBTQ+, really a space that centers the identity, talks about what the experience is a support space as well. And we're really excited because we will be having an LGBTQ+ club start up this semester as well. And so that will be next week on the 26th. Next slide, please. All about scholarships. ASCOM has done a tremendous job in really gauging what are the things and the topics that our students are interested in. One of the areas that we've learned is that, yes, we have scholarships at the campus, and yes, we have scholarships out in the community, but do students know how to actually get those scholarships or have the opportunity to learn on how to write your essay for a scholarship? So they will be doing a scholarship workshop on the 5th of March. Next slide, please. Women's History Month, again, a wonderful month that's going to be centering folks who identify as women and who have really left a legacy, who continue to create a legacy here in the country, in the world. And so our ASCOM will be hosting an event on March 24th. And then Earth Day is usually a collaboration between the Environmental Action Club and our Sustainability Club. It's quite a large event as well that happens in April. Our hope is to really initiate and do work around the work that we're already doing at the campus when we're talking about zero waste, composting, thinking about how we can become more sustainable and earth-friendly. Next slide, please. And then Asian Pacific Islander Month, we will be centering our API diaspora, our folks in the Asian American community, really bringing together our HAP group, and then also making sure that we have all of our community partners that are also a part of the organizations and bringing awareness as well. And that will be in May. And then finals week celebration. I can't believe that that's on here already, but it will be here before we know it. Will be our culminating event to close out the semester. With finals week, our students always bring plenty of snacks, make sure that folks are fed. Our hope is to have the therapy dogs here again. That's been a huge hit over the years. And so we want to make sure we continue to do that to bring down anxiety and stress levels so that folks feel focused and ready for their finals. And that will also be happening in May. Next slide, please. And then a new initiative that's come up that ASCOM has been working on. As most folks know, there is a crisis around fentanyl use. And so ASCOM has been working with some of our other students to really think about how can we create wellness and a harm reduction model around how we can support our students and provide education around this particular topic. And so they will be putting together an educational campaign and awareness on Narcan, the use of Narcan, how to use it, and then also places on campus that's available. So right now, Narcan's available in the health center, in ASCOM, and in first aid kits. And so we want to make sure that folks are aware of that. And so ASCOM will be spearheading that effort. And we want to thank you all. We hope that you plug all of these events and you yourself also come out. We love seeing faculty and staff support to all of the events. Our students get very excited to have all of you there as well. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Sadiqa. I noticed it in the chat. Dave King noticed same thing that I noticed, which is on the COM webpage, it looks like Club Fest is listed for the 12th, not the 13th. Is that something that has changed? I noticed it's different in Riley's slide.
That has changed. Thank you so much, Dave, for catching that, because that was an oversight on my part. So I will change that on the website. Thank you very much.
All right, great. As always, our student government has so many great things going on, and I encourage everyone, students, faculty, staff, take the time to come out and enjoy the activities that they have planned. It's always great to interact with folks and just to see the high quality breadth and depth of what they're doing. I also want to thank, we have, I think, a couple of trustees are with us today, and I just really want to thank all of our trustees for their commitment, not just to the college, but for showing up to things. I know that they all, while as busy as they are, and many of them have their own jobs they need to go to, but I'm just been really impressed and thankful that our trustees try to show up to activities and events on campus. They really are committed to this place and to everyone here. So thank you to those trustees who are with us today. And now we're going to turn our attention to something that I know we wish we didn't have to talk about. And that has to do with recent executive orders at the national level, as well as immigration enforcement, other things. And so our General Counsel, Mia Robertshaw, is with us today to remind us of some things we talked about at Convocation, give us some updates as well, and let you know what might be on the horizon. Mia?
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I love to see a large attendee count. First up, just this is the same information that hopefully you've been seeing both through College of Marin materials, but also through other agencies, Canal Alliance, and other partner agencies. Basically, what you see here on the slide is the red card that is intended to give the holder a really quick reminder about their constitutional rights in the event that they are approached by a federal immigration agent. And on the other side of the card, which we don't have, but the idea is the holder of the card could give that card to the agent, like slide it under the door or show it on the window. And it just provides a message to the agent so that the person holding the card doesn't have to say anything. So if you're wondering why is one side in English and the other side in one of any number of languages, the side in English is intended for the immigration agent. Something that confused me personally, even the first time I looked at it. So I know we have these available and we're getting more. So please, thank you to ASCOM for their efforts in getting these red cards available to students. The police department has all the languages available in their lobby, and we're just spreading these around campus. You can order them online as well through our marketing and communications office. So thank you to everyone for that. Next slide, please, Jesse. This is a graphic. It's one of a few pages that is created by Immigrant Legal Resource Center that just explains how to use the red card. So I think we'll have a couple posters of these out and around, just so if people are not sure what to actually do with the card, this helps. And it should be the same as what everyone will see out in the community as well. We want to simplify the messaging. Next slide, please. In terms of employees, you hopefully received at convocation this bookmark is what we're calling it, but really it's just intended to be fairly easy to keep on your person. It's just a quick guide for what we ask that a College of Marin employee do in the event that they become aware of immigration enforcement on campus. We do not anticipate immigration enforcement on campus. We have not had any to date that anyone's told me about. This is just in an abundance of caution to be prepared so that everyone knows what to do. The short answer is to contact the Office of the President, Jonathan Eldridge, myself, and we will respond. There's a little script in there of what to say to the officer or the immigration agent, I should say. And so then contact us and we will be the ones to review the documentation and determine appropriate next steps. We don't want any employee feeling like they need to take that on their own. So this is just a handy guide. If you need this, feel free to contact Jesse Klein and me. We can get copies for you. We also have them available through marketing communications, and I think they're in the mail rooms as well. Next slide, please. And I don't have a particular slide on this because it changes so rapidly, but basically since taking office, the Trump administration has issued a number of executive orders. And at this point, really what we just want to emphasize is that College of Marin is not at this time changing any practices as a basis of these executive orders. We are monitoring them all closely and will adapt if and as needed. But basically, many of our efforts that we, through many of our programming and a lot of what we do stems from state directives, state laws and regulations, as well as state funding and local community supported funding. So we are fortunate in that, and we continue to anything that was prohibited discrimination as of December remains prohibited discrimination today. Our commitment to having a welcoming and inclusive environment remains as strong as it has ever been. And I really encourage everyone to take a moment. We'll add in the chat, I think, a link to the executive order message that I sent out, which just does go over the various aspects of a person's demographics, personal characteristics on which we protect from discrimination here at College of Marin. Those all remain true today, including gender, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, all race, ethnicity, color, all remain protected characteristics here at College of Marin. I do want to speak to one of the executive orders because it continues to be in the news. You may have seen the Federal Office of Management and Budget sent out a memo in late January, sort of freezing federal funds and various things. A federal court judge blocked that. The memo was then rescinded, and just today, the court issued an order enforcing its temporary restraining order to say, just because someone is not, just because the memo was rescinded doesn't mean the federal government can continue doing what the memo said it should do, just knowing the memo was out there. So I just want to say it's a lot. There's a lot of change happening in terms of federal directives, but in terms of what we are doing in the day-to-day, we're monitoring, we're closely tracking, and at this time, no change. Please, best we can do is stay calm, stay focused on our supporting students or as students, focusing on your studies and lives. And we will get through as an inclusive and welcoming community. I just do want to also plug our undocumented services, which we have a web page, many resources available through that, including free immigration legal assistance for all College of Marin employees and students. So I would recommend taking a look at that on the website. And there's a question in the chat about what would I recommend for someone who is not in danger of deportation in terms of interacting with the federal immigration agent. I'm not an immigration lawyer, I cannot give legal advice. I think the red card is, that lists your constitutional rights that apply to everyone, regardless of your immigration status. So I would look there as a good start. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mia. It's hard to know what will come next, but I think we all need to remember that education in general and higher education certainly is one of those institutions that makes up the civic infrastructure that really supports a democratic society. So not only can we be a very welcoming and inclusive place for folks to pursue whatever their educational goals are, but we also are an important part of the democratic process and ensuring that we have a democracy, open public education, the ability to study without concern, the ability to teach without fear of reprisal. These are core attributes. And so, not only will we make sure that we are on top of all of this stuff that Mia talked about, but we also do all need to take very seriously our responsibility in that regard, and know that our institution has been here for 100 years and it will outlast the current federal administration and whichever one comes next. And so the more we can stay true to those values and to our responsibility to ensure that we're graduating and transferring thoughtful citizens. Thank you to everyone who's a part of that, and we all are. I now want to turn over to our Vice President of Human Resources, Nikki Harris, who just has a word on last semester's employee engagement survey that many of you took. Thank you for that. Just with some follow-up sessions to talk about those things. And Nikki, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Eldridge. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful weekend watching the Super Bowl. I did. So first, I would like to thank all of our employees who spent the fall semester taking the employee engagement survey. We appreciate your feedback. And as you all know, the survey is a product of the Equal Employment Opportunity Initiatives that we have here in our EEO plan outlined in component 13. But it's also to inform Plan 2030 and the next 5-year educational master plan. So the work that's coming out of that survey is very essential for our institution as we move forward. We have a few sessions coming up. We have 2 sessions to just go over the survey for those who hadn't had the opportunity to dig deep into the data or just to get an overview of what the survey is sharing, feedback, whether it's collectively or where areas of improvement or opportunities. We definitely would love to have you come so we can go over it as well as you provide us with additional feedback. So those dates are Wednesday, February 12th and March 5th during community hours. And we will be sending out another communication this week to remind everyone of the survey session, as well as your opportunity to review the survey results again. Once again, thank everyone for participating. We truly value your feedback and interested in learning more about how we can become more of a inclusive, collective community college.
Thank you, Nikki. Much appreciated. And also just a note of thanks to everyone in HR who's been helping all of us as we have played our roles in the many hiring processes that have been underway and are getting underway, both in terms of faculty hiring and staff hiring, as well as the leadership of HR when it comes to ensuring that we have great professional learning opportunities along with our Planning, Research, and Institutional Effectiveness Office. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Vice President of Finance and Operations. Sorry, stuttered there for a minute. Arisa Pooch, who's going to give us an update on upcoming opportunities to engage in understanding our budget and the budget development process. Arisa?
Thank you, President Eldridge. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to share that in the last month, I spent some time with each budget manager to review their budgets, and those meetings were meaningful and productive. The discussions provided valuable insights into the diverse nature of our budgets, some being relatively simple, while others require a more complex approach to how we can altogether secure our future to support our Plan 2030 of being the best place to study and learn, being a great place to work and grow, and be a catalyst for positive change in our community. We aim to shift our spending behaviors to foster a culture of fiscal responsibility and accountability across the institution. The district is heading towards its budget development process for the next fiscal year 2025-26, and our budget managers will input their budget into the budget builder system in April. We are required to submit to the Chancellor's Office a tentative budget for fiscal year 25-26 by June 30th, and we are hoping that this tentative budget will support maintaining a 20% reserve level with no deficit spending and budgeting, and building up both the capital projects and innovation funds of the district. This will position College of Marin well into the future in supporting our students' learning and success. And I'm excited to share that we will be hosting 2 budget town hall meetings next month during our community hour on March 24th and 31st. We'll be sharing more information soon so you can put them on your calendar and we can all have the space to learn more about our budget. So more to come on that. Thank you all.
Thank you, Arisa. Appreciate that. Well, that brings us to the end of our session today. And I know that we do have one question that came in ahead of the webinar that Nikki will answer in a minute. I did just want to say before we get to that question, and if anyone else has any, you can put them in the chat. They'll come to the panelists and we'll get those answered. But I did just want to say as well that everyone who spoke here today is available as you would like, whether that be at a department meeting, coming into a class, showing up to an event on a particular topic, one that we talked about today, or more generally, or more specifically on something we didn't cover today. Happy to come have those conversations at any point, and we may even be inviting ourselves into some spaces at some point to make sure we can get into the details of some of these things. But I do hope that everyone here will show up to the things that Nikki and Arisa and Sadiqa talked about, as well as the tours that Dana mentioned, and you'll go over and test out some of the furniture that might be going to the new buildings. So there's a lot going on and a lot of opportunity for folks to engage and interact and be a part of the process. And with that, I just want to turn it over to Nikki. We did get a question about hiring that came in ahead of the webinar. And Nikki, do you want to respond to that?
Sure. Yes, the question came in about if there's a hiring freeze on classified positions. And I'm here to say there is no hiring freeze on classified positions. However, there is a process when a position comes vacant, whether it's through retirement or someone moved on from the district. We do have a process before we can actually go out and recruit. Some of that includes looking at the duties, working with the department to see if any of those duties change. In some cases, the position may go through a reclassification process, or the position just may be delayed in posting due to various things that's happening within the department. So if there is someone with a specific concern about a position, please feel to reach out to me. I can give you the status of that. If not, you can work directly with your department, your dean or your director, who is probably more up to date on it as well. But just to remind everyone, there isn't a hiring freeze, but there is a process. And there's a lot of positions we're recruiting for this spring semester, the classified positions. So we do have an order of things and how we can organize and prioritize those. And we work with departments, divisions, and so forth to get that some priorities in order. So that is the answer to that question. I hope I answered the question. If not, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Nikki. We did get just one other question, and that is about if there are plans to replace the portables on Circle Drive with additional parking and chargers, EV chargers. Well, the first step is to get rid of the portables on Circle Drive, as I mentioned before. Whether or not that will mean additional parking or EV chargers is part of a larger discussion. We did just have the board had a retreat on Friday, and one of the main topic areas was around issues of environmental action, particularly around issues of sustainability with our facilities. EV chargers was a part of that conversation. I would say that we are looking to upgrade and expand. Exactly how many and where, we will be in touch to get input on that in the coming months. Klaus Christensen, our Director of Maintenance, Planning and Operations, has a whole host of things in the environmental realm that he would like to accomplish. And so we just started that conversation in earnest with the board. There'll be more conversations with them and with the campus community in the coming weeks and months. And in fact, it may make a good topic for our other town hall later on this spring. He may be at the point where he's ready then to discuss those things. In any case, that was the one last question. We are just about at time, but I really want to thank everyone for taking the time out of your day today to join us for this. Hopefully the information has been helpful. We look forward to your feedback on this. Please do reach out, and I look forward to seeing you around both of our campuses. Take care.